Hi, friends. Welcome back to this next episode of With Purpose. We have been talking about art, murals specifically, that we have around our campus here in Wichita. And today we are talking about a special one. This mural is modeled actually after a painting that hangs in the Capitol building in Washington. That was done by a famous artist, John Trumbull. So the original painting is like 12 feet tall by 18 feet wide. So it's like basically the same size of this mural, which is really incredible to think about. But it hangs in the rotunda, so this place of honor in the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. And if you go on a tour of that building, I can almost guarantee you whoever is giving you a tour will stop at this painting and talk about the significance of the moment it depicts in our country's history, because it is a big deal. So what this painting is about is it's showing a scene from December 23rd of 1783. So Washington, George Washington, has just led the Continental Army to victory over the British. So we declared our freedom, and then we fought for it, and we won. And George Washington shows up as the commander of the Continental Army. And he shows up in a place where the world would expect him now to take charge of the country, to become the king, the dictator, the supreme leader, whatever nomenclature you want to put on it, whatever title. And instead of doing that, though, he resigns. He resigns his commission and says, I'm going back to my farm. I want to live a private life. I want to be in the shade of my trees. This is where you will find me. And it shocked the world because it was such a display of leadership. It was such a humble moment where he says, essentially, hey, I am not going to be a dictator. That is what we left when we came to America. That is not what this country is about. Maybe if you want me to be your leader, you'll elect me later. Of course we do. But it is a turning point in our country's history. It's when we were really we put the stamp on who we are. And I think it's an amazing moment. So we had a mural created by a really talented local artist, Lindsay Carnodal, to depict this moment in our own way. And we added lots of bright colors because we love bright colors. And she did her own version of it, which I love. One thing she added is the sun kind of rising through the window, so you can see this really beautiful sunrise. And I love that, this idea that the sun is rising on our country, and that's the beginning, the dawn. So it's really beautiful, and I love it. And I love what this depicts for our organization, and this picture of leadership that it casts for, I think, how we want to lead inside of our company, how we want to lead in our city, and how I think we ought to be leading in our world, where we go and we fight these big battles, and then we recognize that there are other people coming behind us that are also great leaders, and we need to empower them. We are not here to dominate. We are not here to be dictators. We are here to do important work and then help other people do important work too. And that happens when we create space for them to step into leadership, which is what Washington is modeling here. Really powerful stuff. When you think about Washington and that time, I think it's important to think about all of the people that were with him or that came just after him, that his leadership ultimately enabled. Something that is also interesting to think about is this painting depicts the first time he did this. But it wasn't the last time, actually. So he goes, and of course he goes to his farm, and then we elect him And then he gets elected again, and he says, like, hey, I'm not gonna be here for forever, and so I'm gonna resign as president now, so that somebody else can run and take this spot. And actually, just until more recently in our country's history, like within the last 100 years, I don't know the exact date, we didn't have term limits for a presidency. There was essentially a known agreement like that you served a couple of terms and then you went back to what you did in your real life. Um, and that course of action was set by Washington when he modeled that for the country as our first president. And so, man, he's just such an impressive and incredible leader to model this version of power that was totally foreign to the world. So, really great picture of leadership. And the legacy of that is what comes after Washington. The names that followed him, the names that were part of his leadership teams, either when he was leading the army or was president, are the names that we think about shaping our country and who we still are today. I mean, Alexander Hamilton, Nathaniel Greene, Henry Knox, Thomas Jefferson. All of these people were part of these leadership teams that Washington built to go and do the things he did during the war in his presidency. And it's really incredible to think about the legacy that he left as a leader in showing how to hold and relinquish power and showing how to grow a team and empower other leaders to come after him. Really awesome. So this mural is situated on our campus in the building that I work in, actually. And this is right by the front door. And so every day when I walk in or when I walk out, I can look just off to the side and see this really beautiful painting and remind me what I believe leadership looks like, what I believe great leadership looks like. Well, I hope you see something in this mural for you. Maybe there's a particular message in some of what I rambled on about, or maybe there's something else that just inspires you here. But the first question that I would have for you today, is there some place where you need to just take a step back? You've been leading for a while, and now it's time to ask somebody else to step up and take your place. The second question is, are you intentionally building a team of people around you, your Alexander Hamiltons, your Henry Knoxes, that are preparing, or you are preparing them to be ready for when it is their moment to lead? How are you doing that? If Washington had not have done that, then this act would have been incredibly irresponsible. But since he did, it was an incredible act of leadership. How are you preparing your team members to take your spot someday? So I skipped ahead and we forgot gratitude because I was just so excited to talk about those questions. But let's back up for a minute. What are you grateful for this week? Something in particular? Make a list. There are usually 3 or 4 things I can think of right here. And the second question we always ask, what are you putting off? Commit to do that this week. Another thing I'd love for you to commit to is I would love to see you back here 1 week from today when we release our next episode of With Purpose. We're going to talk about another piece of art. We got 2 left in this series that we're doing on the art of leadership. Hope to see you there. Have a great week.